Breaking news this afternoon, Attorney General Chris Mays suing the Trump administration.
Mays made that announcement less than an hour ago. Let's listen in to part of that announcement.
The first sentence of Section 1 of the 14th Amendment is clear. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside, period. Yesterday, in an affront to the Constitution he had sworn an oath to protect, President Trump issued a blatantly unconstitutional executive order ending birthright citizenship and shredding our nation's most sacred document. If allowed to stand, this unconstitutional order would annually deprive thousands of newborns the citizenship and privileges they are entitled to. And those children in Arizona when they grow up, they will lose the ability to fully and fairly participate in American society as citizens, despite the Constitution's guarantee of their citizenship. Countless American patriots have fought and died to protect our Constitution and the rights it guarantees for all citizens and all individuals born in this nation. As I said after the election, I will not allow Donald Trump to shred the United States Constitution.
So Mays is joining a multi-state federal lawsuit. Joining us now to hash this out and what it means exactly, 12 News journalist Brahm Resnik. So Attorney General were anticipating this move by Trump.
Democratic attorney generals were anticipating this. Just to give you some background, because many folks don't really pay much attention to this, birthright citizenship is enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. That amendment was written because African Americans born here as slaves were not considered Americans. That amendment was meant to remedy that. Courts have upheld the idea that anyone born in the United States is an American citizen. Now, the 14th Amendment has been a target of folks who want to restrict immigration, who want to restrict certainly undocumented immigration. They've been targeting it for years, and now Donald Trump, in this executive order issued yesterday, says he, and he alone, as president, can rewrite what's in the Constitution to say that anyone who's a child of an undocumented immigrant born here, a child of a temporary person here on a temporary visa born here, is not an American citizen. You've heard the slur, anchor babies. This is what people, the restrictionists in Donald Trump's cabinet, among his aides, this is what the restrictionists have been targeting for years, this idea of anchor babies, that undocumented immigrants come here to have children who are American citizens, who will then allow the undocumented immigrants someday to become citizens themselves. In fact, go back to 2013. State lawmakers here in Arizona went to Washington to try to undo the 14th Amendment and what's called birthright citizenship. Did not work then. Now you have Attorney General Mays, Democratic attorney generals filing suit to block Donald Trump. The ACLU was first out of the gates last night within hours of Trump signing that executive order to file suit. This could ultimately be settled by the U.S. Supreme Court, which, as we know, has a 6-3 majority, many of them appointed by Donald Trump. This could be a historic case if it does go that far.
Okay, let's give our viewers some more context about the situation. Arizona, of course, joins, we said, multi-states, other states in this lawsuit.
Democratic attorney generals.
Yes, Washington, Illinois, Oregon, they've all asked the judge to invalidate Trump's order in its entirety and stop the Trump administration from implementing it. You talked about the 14th Amendment. Specifically, it violates 14th Amendment, that's what they're claiming, saying, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the U.S. and of the state wherein they reside. Now, if this stands, it does not happen today. I mean, it's still, we're talking, what, 30 days?
Well,
for it to take effect, if it stands?
Well, if it stands is not really the question. They're going to court to block this from taking effect.
Right.
It would take effect in 30 days, I believe. I don't have the order in front of me, but I think it's within 30 days. One big question folks have, well, what if I am the child of undocumented immigrants? I'm 15 years old, 20 years old, 40 years old. Am I affected by this? The way I read it, the language of this order is kind of sloppy on that point, and it could be read in a way that if you are a child of undocumented immigrants of any age, you could fall under this and could be subject to a challenge to your citizenship. It's even hard to conceive of that. But again, the language is a little sloppy. The courts will have to figure this out. What I expect to happen is these folks, AGs, go into court, ACLU is in court, and a judge would issue a temporary restraining order to prevent this executive order from taking effect, and then it'll be hashed out in court and again perhaps go to the Supreme Court.
So if that's the case, is it too soon or fair to say that no one who may feel that they're going to be impacted doesn't need to have a knee-jerk reaction, or is there valid concern that people should be scrambling? Or is it just too soon?
Well, Attorney General Mays pointed this out in her news conference. You have women who are pregnant right now who may be in that situation. A mother who is undocumented, about to give birth within the next few months or few days to a child. That mother has reason to be concerned. We don't know how this is going to turn out ultimately if it's in the hands of the courts. So
There's still a lot left to be.
There's a lot left to be
out.
decided, but I think the big picture here, the big takeaway in light of everything Donald Trump said in his inauguration speech, the 10 executive orders, including this one related to immigration, is that under Donald Trump, there will be a very severe crackdown on undocumented immigrants. This could be part of it.
Right.
Well, and we actually do have a little bit more from Attorney General Chris Mays on what she had to say about this particular situation.
This lawless order is not only nakedly unconstitutional, it is an attack on families and children in this state and across this country. And it will cause irreparable damage and harm to Arizonans. This illegal executive order will also harm the most vulnerable Arizona children by making it harder for the Department of Child Safety to place children in its custody with extended family members.
And I just mentioned that this has been a target of immigration restrictionists for years. And their argument is this has never really been fully adjudicated by the courts, maybe not even in Congress, even though there was a decision going back maybe 100 years, maybe one more recent than that, that did appear to adjudicate this. So now they are having that argument.
This is a proclamation.
They're taking that fight through the President of the United States and possibly again all the way to the Supreme Court to see if their theory is right.
Interesting.
We should also mention, too, that earlier today there was another group of 18 states who also filed a similar lawsuit to the one that Arizona filed, Washington, as well as Oregon. So I know you're going to have a lot more coming up later today at 4 o'clock.
Brahm, thank you.
Sure thing.